Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement presented by Barstool Sports. I am your host, Robbie Fox, along with the best co-pilot in the galaxy, Clem. And we are here for another episode that's a bit of a free swim, as our friend Eddie calls it. We're going to talk about the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer. We're going to talk about some of the quotes that are coming out of the Marvel VPs about this movie and how that could tie into the whole universe. But first, how are you, Clem?
Doing great, Bob. Doing great. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the basement right now. Another thing we do in the basement, we watch sports. I got my New York Giants about getting ready for a playoff game on Sunday. So a lot of things popping off. I'm a little nervous. I've been watching old Giants playoff games because
I saw that.
You know how it is. Bob's a sports guy in many different things. I'm Rangers fan, Commanders, and Yankees. It's been a while since we've been in the playoffs, so I have to get those reps back in where you're watching the old stuff and just remembering that every play feels like it's life or death. And when they rip off a big play to the other team, it feels like a dagger to the stomach. So I'm just been trying to get ready for that. And kids,
I saw you were live tweeting like games from 2007 last night. Do you finding these on YouTube? Like, or is there like an NFL network where you could find these? Like, where are you watching these games?
Yeah, so I just put in 2007 Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Packers, whatever, and I think one was the NFL, but one was just some random person that uploaded it and they didn't take it down. No commercials or anything. And once, like, if I remember that, I'm like, oh yeah, there's like a good like 20 minutes or nothing goes on. I kind of just like skip around, but just seeing my boy Eli out there throwing it. He has the big shaggy hair. He's like, I mean, at that point, Eli was like 26, 27 years old. He's a baby compared to what he is now. So it was just some good stuff. And getting the kids, what cool is like one thing that I've never really done is I've never been able to is dressing the kids on a Friday for school. They get their Giant stuff on, they send them in. And that was, I remember back in the day when we were in school, all the people wear their teams before like a Sunday playoff game. So this was the first time I could do it because Sienna was like one when the Giants were last in the playoffs and AJ wasn't even a thought. So very cool stuff. How's everything over in Foxland?
Good. Busy. It's been a busy week, but all in like very good ways. We're recording this on Friday the 13th, actually. Dun, dun, dun.
Whoa.
And my week was a good one. I did KFC radio this week, so look out for that on Monday. I did a man on the street video, which people seem to be excited about. When I teased it on Twitter, I was very happy that people were like excited for that. I'm doing some man on the street videos with the KFC radio gang. So I'll be doing them, but it's kind of like for a KFC radio thing. It's kind of a cool interconnected My Mom's Basement KFC radio thing. So look out for that. And the big news of the week, I think, is that the Disney trip is happening. Dave texted me, you, Jeff D. Lowe, and when you see that group chat go off, it can only mean one thing. You know, it's like the bat phone in some way.
Yep.
And he was like, boys, let's make this happen. Like Dave has been the one pushing this trip forward and being like, when are we going to Disney? When are we going to Disney? When are we going to Disney? And we like agreed on a weekend. I think the wheels are in motion to try to make that happen. We don't have like plane tickets yet or anything like that, but I think Disney's actually going to happen.
It's actually going to happen. I can't believe it. I'm stoked for it. Again, I am going and paying a ton of money to go with my family, but I'll probably enjoy this significantly more than I'm going to enjoy the Disney trip with my family. We have a place over here in town called Countryside Cafe, and it's a great little like diner pancake place. And I always go with the kids, and it's just a full blown. You know, I'm throwing iPads around. They're playing with the sugar packets. They do what kids do at diners and stuff like that, right? And today I went and I just ate by myself after I dropped everyone off, and I was just so at peace. And the owner's like, hey, man, looks like you're doing better today than usually in here. I'm like, this is so much better. And that's kind of what it's going to be with the boys going down to Disney, just me and the boys going down. I can't wait to see Nerdy Portnoy in person and just see what that's all about. Star Wars guy. Just get his kind of thoughts on the universe and the galaxy and all that. Jeff D. Lowe. The first time we met Jeff D. Lowe, or at least I met him in person, was at Celebration back in 2017 with you when he was buying like $1,000 Princess Leia toys and stuff like that.
And noted Disney guy too. He's been to Disney like 26 times or something crazy like that.
Yes, and then obviously my guy Bob Fox here. So it's great to and I haven't like dug deep into all the like things that go on in Star Wars land. I blogged about it a couple times, but I kind of just
you got to get reservations 4 months in advance.
Really? Like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
The droid depot, the lightsaber building shop, they got it all at Star Wars land. We're gonna see it all. It's gonna be a great time. I honestly can't wait. It's almost like fate has made this happen. The Force, some may say, made this happen, because it was like, I'm not going to lie, I had some FOMO. I was like, Clem's taking his kids to Disney before he takes me to Disney. Like, what in the world? But now we're going to be in Disney together.
I tried to make the points work where I could at least get your flight down there, and then we'd have to figure out the room and all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't my wife who said no to it, for the record. It's just like, I don't know if I can have Bob and AJ together. I feel like
I was going to say it was AJ. He was like, that guy's a pussy. He's not allowed on the trip, as he did a donut.
Hey, Dad, we already have one pussy going on the trip, and you. I don't need you bringing your nerdy boyfriend from the basement down to Disney with us. So get the hell out of here. And this is the guy that like, Sienna was a pretty big Star Wars fan when she was very young. She like just loved Darth Vader, as she called it, and just was like entranced with watching it because it's such like a cinematic marvel. She like kind of remembers that. She does like Star Wars. She remembers like R2-D2. But I watched a little bit of Empire the other day, and they didn't know what the hell was going on. They weren't really grabbed by it. AJ doesn't seem to care all that much. So I was basically going on this trip in April, and we're going with another family as well, where I don't think anybody's a Star Wars fan. And I was like, I would have my fun. I kind of be rushed out. I get to just I get to nerd the hell out with my boys. And again, with the boss man, who's, a low key nerd, just like the rest of us, who has been pushing it. I don't know if you're like me, but whenever I see my phone and I see it as soon as the text goes off from Dave, I let it sit for a little bit. I don't want to wait too long to text them. It's like not like a girl that you're like waiting to text, but I don't want to like, and I also don't know when to like reply too late, even though Dave's definitely up later than we are. There is some etiquette when the boss man's on the text where I kind of just let other people, take the reins. And Jeff has kind of been he's our Han Solo, kind of guiding the ship there. So I'm stoked. Yes. I really want to get to the cruiser. I don't know if Penn or Millionaire Dave wants to book. I don't know if you even can book a room in the cruiser, but man, that's the fucking dream right there, is getting to that cruiser at some point.
Going to some of those parties where you got to like dress up and there's like aliens just walking around.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. And also, if you don't know why this trip happened, like if you started like listening to the podcast in the last year, Dave went to Disney last year and said, oh my God, texted me and was like, Star Wars Land was amazing. Like, I went on the Star Wars ride. It was worth all the hype. And I'm thinking Rise of the Resistance. It has to be, because it's the 20-minute, amazing cinematic masterpiece of a ride that stormtroopers are coming up to your ship and trying to get you out, whatever it is. I don't even know, because I haven't been on it, obviously. But I said, did you go on the Millennium Falcon ride as well? I heard that one's fun too. And he said, no, they didn't have a Millennium Falcon there. And I was like, ooh, see, that's at the entrance to Star Wars Land. So that's very confusing that you say they didn't have a Millennium Falcon there. It turns out he didn't go to Star Wars Land at all. He went to the little part of, I think it's like the Hollywood Studios part of Disney, where they have an AT-AT, and they have the Star Wars ride from the 90s, Star Tours. That's what he went on. And now he feels the need to go back. Obviously, he missed out on Star Wars Land entirely, and he's bringing the boys along. Gotta love it.
And did someone reply like, I want to go with you or something like that? And that's what got this all started. I'm trying to think of, I think one of us on Twitter.
I don't even know how. It might have been, yeah.
Yeah, you got to bring at Robbie, at Clem, and then
something
kind of
like
just
that.
Like, all right, we're going to rock and roll. We're going to let it ride. So shout out to whoever got that ball in motion. We thank you from our little nerdy hearts. And Dave, and this, the funniest thing about it is, I know Dave's going to have his content brain on. There's going to be a bunch of nonsense that we'll be doing along the way. So I hope it ends up having some funny shit out of it. Just watching him with his little R2-D2 Mickey Mouse ears and stuff was hilarious to see back when he went. And I mean, our guy Dave, like he was giving me all this shit for trying to watch the Mets and House of the Dragon at the same time. And I'm like, well, some of us have attention spans where we would notice that there's a giant part of the park that you're just not going to, and start like thinking you're going to see Star Wars Land and you see fucking Star Tours and an AT-AT. That's tough. That Disney magic is so much more than that. I bet Jeff was offended. He's like, you think that would be that Star Wars Land? Like those Disney people get very upset if you think that's all the magic that's there. So it's going to be a hell of a ride for the Basement Boys. Cannot wait. And hopefully we get there sooner rather than later.
So another thing, we talked last week about potentially playing board games with Barstool personalities. This came up super naturally. You were telling me about playing Parcheesi and telling me about New Year's Eve board games. And I was like, I'm not much of a board game guy because I don't have anyone to play them with. And then we thought, oh, what if we played board games with each other and other people from Barstool? Huge hit of an idea on Twitter. People love the idea of this. And in the office, people kept coming up to me and being like, oh my God, I'd love to do this. Marty Mush says he's undefeated in Monopoly. Chris Klemmer says he's undefeated in Monopoly. Smitty claims that he's, the best board game guy in the world.
Of course.
We're going to bring all these people in. You're going to come into HQ this week. We're going to film like a tester of like, hey, this is what this could be. We could show it to some people and maybe get more Barstool people involved. Like Kevin texted me immediately and was like, me and Fights can do something with you guys, us play against you guys. We said the white whale, and it's not much of a white whale because we know we can get these guys. Trent and Frankie versus you and me in board games is a money-making idea waiting to happen.
There's something about Trent's just demeanor. I'm like, that is the elite guy. When you have board game night with your friends or something like that, Trent's the glue that holds it all together, I feel. He's the one who's telling the stories, making everyone laugh. I saw a little bit of their dozen match, and those guys, they're just out of their fucking minds. They may not be great trivia players, but they're just a good fucking time. So, yeah, Frankie and Trent in particular. And anybody who has any ideas, like, hey, I'd love to see this Barstool personality and even like a personality and a game. Like I was saying, you could do like hey, we'll do Battleship with Cons and Kate or someone like that. You could do Large, could do Monopoly since he's a fucking rich son of a bitch with the finance stuff. Just different things where we can steer into the brands. But I think there's so many fun games. I already listed out, I think I sent you a list of like 30 games where obviously it's, Parcheesi. Perfection, I think, would be great, where you're freaking out as you have to put all the little shape.
Never played it.
Oh,
wait. Is that the one where it pops out?
Yes.
Okay, no, I have. I didn't know that's what it was called. Perfection is what that's called?
Yeah, Perfection. You have to throw the little shapes in, and if you don't get it, it explodes. And I'm saying, Bob, if you've never played that, your anxiety will go through the fucking roof if you're playing
No, that's good. And in my head, this series takes off, and I want to do like Clue, and we all dress up like it's like Glass Onion, Knives Out, or whatever. I want to do Perfection, and I come in the Hurt Locker Jeremy Renner bomb suit to do it. Like I want to do all of that style, ridiculous stuff. I know there's a Spyfall. Have you ever heard of Spyfall?
No.
It's more of like a Jackbox style game. It's not a board game. You play it on your phones, but you all log on, and like it's almost Among Us style where one person is the spy, and you all get to like start asking each other questions to figure out who it is, where it is. We could do stuff like that. But I think that's a hit of an idea waiting to happen. And my God, my mom's basement, that's the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Where do you play board games? You go down to the basement with your pals.
And I think if we shoot it, it'll be like almost like a pilot. We'll get a few games, we'll get a few people on, and we'll figure it out. I don't know how you could shoot it where it's like, I remember when they showed poker on ESPN and you could see the cards for the first time, and it changed everything. Like if there's a way where you can see what everyone has and and I think just as much of it will be the banter. It'll basically be a podcast with a board game in the background. I know the old Game Time had a lot of stuff like that too, where you could clip, some good stuff out of it. Barstool Board Game Time. I don't know. We're in the basement. We're just going to have some fun. And any games you guys want to recommend? I think games that like, I love Ticket to Ride, and I looked up like best games ever, and Ticket to Ride and Catan were listed as the top 2 in a lot of places. Catan, I just got for Christmas. We haven't played yet. I've heard nothing but awesome things. And everyone who tweeted me after the podcast that we had last week, they're like, dude, you got to play Catan. It's going to be so much fun. Ticket to Ride, the same thing. But I do think games that are a little more mainstream, at least to start, your Monopolies, Connect 4, you said, Jenga, a little, what was that, Stool Streams, a little throwback there, right? Candyland, I think something basic like Candyland could be fun, because I have a lot of takes. I know Kevin used to blog a lot about Candyland, like Princess Frostina. You remember that?
Pro Candyland? You have a lot of takes. Pro Candyland,
extremely pro Candyland. Good. I have a story about me and the wife from back in the day playing Candyland back in college that well, I'll save that one for the show, but I could just go on for days about all this shit. I think board games is like as wholesome, good fun as it gets. And I think that's what we try to get here in the basement, and not as wholesome. I think some Twister could be some fun stuff too. I will bow out of the Twister one just for just to see.
You can call it like commentate it.
I'll spin the wheel.
Yeah. I like that you hit us with the Maz Kanata there too. That's a story for another time.
Yes, exactly.
Tune in later. Let's get into this Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer. Let's talk about it, because I know this is what people want to hear us talk about. Debuted during the national championship. I saw a great clip from Lights Camera Barstool where Robbie Goochman was like, I love when they make these nerds watch sports. He's like, get the nerds in and let them watch.
That was absolutely hilarious. And he nailed it. Like imagine being a nerd, right? No, but imagine being a nerd that
Imagine that.
doesn't know anything about sports and is like, I have to go turn on the TV to whatever channel ESPN is, right? And find it. And then you're watching an absolute blowout that is the most, I guess it could be funny just watch Georgia score touchdowns every 3 seconds as you're waiting for the trailer to come. But it was just funny that sometimes these games are just absolute dog shit. And these poor nerds are like, yeah, this is why I don't watch sports. This is absolutely like watching paint dry. So
they're doing it again too. Disney loves to do this because the ESPN connection and whatever. They're doing it Monday Night Football this week. Mandalorian trailer.
It's absolutely brilliant. The synergy that you can do where you're just making people watch your thing for then another project that really doesn't have much overlap. There is the Venn diagram, and me and you were smack dab in the middle of it. And everyone, I imagine a lot of the people listening. So it is funny how that works out. But yeah, just the thought of like, if you think about like the nerds that were in gym class and didn't want to get dressed for gym, those are what you're basically making them do. You're making them watch the sports and all that stuff just to get their nerd fix. And Bob, if say I wanted to, watch this on Monday night, but also make myself a little meal for the night. What would I look to do that for? You know, because
you can hit up our new friends at Factor. Factor is a new sponsor of the show that I absolutely love. They sent me an entire meal kit. It was one of those giant boxes, and they sent it to the office too. So I had to lug this thing right back to Jersey City. I felt like I had run a marathon and done an Ironman after it because they sent me so many meals, Clem. That's how heavy it was. And these meals are so easy to make. They're frozen. You put them in the microwave. They're ready in 2 minutes. So that is, talk about meals made for me. I love nothing more than a microwavable meal. And these are legit great. This new year, you've got new goals. Factor is here to help you achieve each and every one of them. Save time and have the energy you need to tackle everything on your to-do list with Factor's ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. Get Factor and not only skip the trip to the grocery store, skip the chopping, skip the prepping, skip the cleaning up too. Factor's got it all covered for you. They're fresh, never frozen meals, ready in 2 minutes. That's all you have to do. Heat it up and enjoy. No matter what your lifestyle is, they've got meals for you. Keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, protein plus meals. They've also got keto friendly shakes. They sent me some of the shakes, like there's a chocolate one, a vanilla one. Really, really good stuff. Factor, if you're listening to this, and I know you are, I hope you are, let it be known that I went and signed up for Factor after the free thing you sent me. That's how much I enjoyed it. That's how much I love Factor. So if you got any more of that free stuff, I'll take it because I love Factor. All right. So I'll get you a promo code right here. If you go to factor75.com/Robbie60, ROBBIE 60. Use the promo code Robbie60. You'll get 60% off your first box. I swear this stuff is delicious. They had like a jalapeno cheddar chicken that was unreal, rice on the side and stuff. Code Robbie60 at factor75.com. 60% off your first box. I swear this stuff is great.
New year, new us, right? So everyone's trying to lose some weight too, which they have the plans if you want to do the calorie smart keto, vegan and veggie. And again, keto Clem, that was the thing back in the day. And the worst part about keto is that it was a lot of like meats and stuff like that and stuff you'd have to prepare. And you're always, you're making all this stuff. It's a lot of work to get all that meat. You're marinating it or you're seasoning it, and then you have to clean the pans up. This, boom, put it down, heat it up, you're ready to rock, ready to go. And they have like, dude, I'm looking at all their listings here. The keto world has changed a lot since Keto Clem first came in and met the keto way, because I'm looking here, they have keto macaroons, maple pecan fat bombs, keto cheesecake. Like, where were you? I was just eating, like, I'd have like a scoop of peanut butter and be like, all right, that was my dessert for the night. And they have all this stuff. And then the smoothies look awesome too. And just being able to mix it up. Cause I think that was the thing that drove me nuts about keto, is I was sticking to like the same 5 things every single day. So you're getting, like you said, all this kind of stuff: cheesy bacon ranch, shredded chicken, jalapeno lime cheddar chicken. We're all over the place.
That one. That's the one that I had and loved. I had a bunch of them because I think we got like 8 meals in the first box. It was awesome. And me and my girlfriend both loved them. She loves the shakes. Neither of us are keto necessarily, but the shakes are just good. So like that is a testament to that. I also love the visual of you staring at this screen of like Vanilla Shakes being like, where were you?
You sons of bitches.
All right, now let's get into what everyone wants to talk about this week, the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer. It is Kang narrated from the jump. He says Scott has lost a lot of time, and he's the one man that can give that back to him. Kind of seems like Scott is like falling into this trap himself. He's like, Cassie, look, he could offer us this, right? Cassie's in jail for a quick scene. We see the prison bars behind her. Big time fights shown between Kang and Lang. Immediately from
Kang and Lang. I like that.
It's Kang versus Lang, and they're fighting. And in Marvel trailers, generally, we get mostly first act stuff. They're pretty hesitant to show us, especially in a post-Infinity War Endgame world, third act fights. So this from the jump, I'm like, are they showing us a third act fight? Or is there going to be a complete sci-fi war, which is teased later on? And this is like the first fight between them. But Kang is rocking in the fight the one sleeve. Did you notice that? Like Kane in his debut?
No, I didn't notice that.
I think it might be an ode to the Basement Boys. Like in one of the fight scenes, you know, the fight scene where he stomps on Ant-Man's helmet and you get that like POV shot from Ant-Man's helmet. In that, right before that, you could see he's got one sleeve. And I think it might have been torn off or something. But the second I saw it, I was like, Kang looks like Kane.
It's Kang. It's Kang, right? It's like we were saying all those times. I'm looking at it here now. Yeah. So, oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. That's pretty sweet.
And he looks badass. Like that might have been Jonathan Majors. Like, hey, you know, I just put on 100 pounds of muscle for Creed 3. Like maybe let me rip my sleeve off in this next scene. They were like, yeah, good call.
It did feel like they revealed a lot, right? Especially when you're seeing the the fucking mask get stomped out, and you're like, what the fuck? Are we watching the final fight? If the mask
gets stomped out, like, is he stuck in the quantum realm again?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of questions.
We see MODOK too. That was one of my highlights of the trailer. We see MODOK with and without the little shield up, and he looks great.
Perfectly ridiculous. That's the way I'd use to describe. Because the people who don't know, who are just, again, now you're having the football fans who are then watching the nerd trailer and have nothing. They're like, what the fuck are these nerds looking at? Like, if you see MODOK,
floating head,
but like it's ridiculous in the comic book as well, and the name. What MODOK stands for, mental organism designed only for killing. Metal. That's a metal fucking name right there, right? So you could look like an absolute loser, lunatic if you have a sweet name, and MODOK most certainly has that. And it's was MODOK? Is that Yellow Jacket? It's Yellow Jacket when he's thrown down there.
I think it might be.
That's
right,
kind of where it comes back. I think that's what I don't know if we had said it on the pod or I had read it somewhere, but that was at least.
I think it is, yeah,
because I think the actor is him, so that would make sense. And it does kind of. We did say Smitty would play a pretty good MODOK. Smitty has the head great size. He would be a pretty fucking good MODOK, and I love our guy. He's I cannot wait to play board games with Smitty. Stephen Shea too. I'm just like, it just came back to me. Stephen Shea, I guarantee every game we list off, I'm the best at that game. I've never lost that game. It's going to be hilarious. I have to shout out our at Donald D on Twitter, by the way. He said he goes, I can't believe it took me up until 2 weeks ago. I realized why it's called Quantumania, and then it's Quant, the A-N-T and Quant, and then the M-A-N and Mania, it's Ant-Man. And I'm like,
I saw that. Do you think that's why they called it that, or do you think that's a coincidence? Because I kept going back and forth in my head last night.
I think it was done. I think it's definitely done on purpose. I don't know if they were like, it needs to have Ant-Man hidden somewhere in it, but I definitely think it had something to do with it for sure. It's
like Arkham you could see in Mark Hamill.
Yes, the line I loved. I think it's Michelle Pfeiffer. He can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. You cannot trust him. Oh boy, we have to have Jose on to give us a Kang primer before, because he helped so much with Moon Knight. There's going to be a lot of shit with Kang that is going to go right over my head. That even after they explain it on the big screen, I'm a slow-witted, dumb person. I need that kind of like a little cheat sheet heading into it, right? Just give me a heads up what's coming, Jose, down the road.
And it ends on the quote, I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. Now, we talked about this last week, that this movie has to end on a bit of a down note or in an Empire Strikes Back note where maybe some of the heroes get away, but Kang is eventually still going to be out there and the looming threat because this guy's the next big bad guy. So is there a possibility that they do both, in fact, lose to end this movie? What if they do the, I'm going to tackle you off a cliff and we both die. And then a post-credit scene, Kang just walks out of another like test tube, like he's another variant, and he's like, "You kidding me? There's 1,000 of me out there. Like you think you?" And then we'll get maybe a Scott Lang variant in Secret Wars, but I don't think I saw some people suggesting maybe because of the helmet he's going to get stuck in the quantum realm to end the movie. I don't think they're going to leave Scott Lang stuck in the quantum realm again. That's just what we did before Endgame.
Unless they do it every single time they leave Scott Lang. It's just like his thing, basically. He shows up for Avengers movies after being stuck in the quantum realm. Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm with you on that. The whole thing where there's all the little Ant-Mans or whatever, I'm starting to think my call about Scott Lang getting killed a billion different times. I was thinking more of like different, it was the Prestige kind of way, where it's like he keeps coming out and he keeps dying. Spoiler alert for a movie, it's like 20 years old. But it might just be like some of those variants and stuff like that. Those are the things that they just kill a ton, and he kills them like ants, right? Like it's the exact same kind of way you could just kill a ton of ants. I'm rooting for the bad guy in this, Bob. I love Scott Lang. He's a nice guy.
That doesn't surprise me.
He has a daughter who seems like a very nice girl. By the way, this thing's going to, I say that now, once I'm, in the theater, lights are off, it's going to be different because this seems like it's going to be very kid-centric and like the whole missing those golden years.
You think? Oh, kid-centric in that way. Yeah.
Like it's going to be all about how he was in jail.
I thought you meant it was going to be like a movie for kids, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this one.
Yes, Sienna is not like Sienna is. This is a wait and see movie for Sienna because she does like Ant-Man. Because I think if you don't like Paul Rudd, do you think anyone that we know doesn't like Paul Rudd? Like, do you think there's someone at Barstool's like, I fucking hate him?
I hope not. I would really rather you be like a secret conspiracy theorist than a secret Paul Rudd hater. You know what I mean? Like I was going to go even worse with it, but I'm not going to put that on record. But you can't hate on Paul Rudd. You almost have.
It's basically if you don't like Paul Rudd, you like the H-Man. It's like those are the kind of people we're dealing with here.
They also just did most likable people on the bracket, and Paul Rudd was on the bracket. I don't know if he won, but he probably should have.
He was, the fact he even made the list lets you know just how he's just delightful. He's even when he was looking to fuck his stepsister in Clueless. Like the first time I saw him on the big screen, I still just loved him. I mean, he has delightful eyes. Let's call it the eyes. They're such soft eyes; they just disarm you immediately. So
one of the greatest Hot Ones interviews of all time, by the way. When just the gift that has lasted from it, where he's like, "Look at us. Who would have thought? Look at us." Like that's such a great gift that I use constantly to this day. Like even quote it in the house, around the house. Paul Rudd, delightful guy.
I sent that to our girl Marina, a recent, a listener and a fellow nerd in here, because I said Giants fans and Seahawks fans. I'm like, look at us! Like no one thought we were going to make the playoffs this year. We're both playing the first, wild card round. Look at us! It's absolutely beautiful. So saying I don't want to see Ant-Man die, I just really fucking like Kang. I think he's cool. They did a good job taking the Kang look and making it not look goofy on the big screen, which is not an easy thing to do. And someone said it best. The fact they took Mysterio and made him not look like a goofy asshole in Spider-Man, that's how you know that like this current iteration of brain trust in Marvel is cooking right now. If they got Kang and Mysterio both looking cool in the 2020s. But I got that thing where it's like he missed her growing up. The blip took away 5 years. And this is gonna really tear at the heartstrings. I don't know how she's gonna be involved. She's in jail, so I do think things are.
Why is she in jail? Tough. Do we think?
Do you think it's almost like her dad, where she's doing the right thing and she's thrown in jail for doing the right thing?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think she hacked into some because she's good with tech. We know from the quantum realm satellite she makes. I think she hacked into some server to make sure something was getting paid out correctly, or she did the right thing and then got thrown in prison. If it was a '90s movie, I would have said oh, she was doing the reefer. But she lives in San Francisco, ain't no way she's getting arrested for that.
You get arrested for not smoking the reefer in San Francisco at this point.
You know what's crazy about New York at this point, by the way? I just did the Man on the Street video I referred to earlier in Washington Square Park, and people had weed tables set up with what looked like a sign that my mom would put up that says live, laugh, love in her house, but it said just weed. And you would walk up to the table and people were just rolling joints for you, selling edibles. People walked past us as we were filming the video. Just a guy with a couple corgis, adorable dogs. And he was just like, pre-rolls, edibles, let me know. And kept walking. It's crazy. It's the Wild West out here in New York. It's basically Quantumania.
Yeah, we were living in Quantumania. Chronopolis
you have those
has
weird
arrived.
Creatures walk out from around the corner, and you're not from this multiverse.
Bob, I'm starting to go down like I'm like thinking of everything that happened. This whole movie, I was thinking about the other day. This whole thing with Kang becoming a reality in the MCU, it all starts with what? I guess like this version of Kang, he was always going to come, but it's because the Avengers had to go back, get those Infinity Stones. Loki get hit, takes the Tesseract, he gets shot in, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, yada yada yada. Sylvie kills the one who remains, and now we have all the shit that's going to be coming in the future phases right there. I almost feel like Thanos came in 2019, shit probably went a little crazy. Pandemic comes in 2020, which is definitely like the biggest moment of our lives, I think, post 9/11, right? The biggest life-changing moment, or if you want to call it that, whatever it is. And now it's like the Kang Man is here and he's ready to fucking rock and roll. And now we have fucking weed just being sold in fucking like that park always was moving a shitload of weed. But the fact they're just throwing it on tables with signs that straight out of Mama Fox's house is some fucking hilarious shit. I feel like that's in I could be I'm thinking the 25th Hour. I'm trying to think if that's the park in 25th Hour when Edward Norton's selling his stuff. You ever see 25th Hour?
No.
Oh, good movie. Check it out. It's it might be
I like Ed Norton too, so I will be inclined to check that out.
9/11 plays like a big central role in it because it was pretty quickly after 9/11, but it's like it's not it's basically the fallout of 9/11 and just kind of the way the city is after them, but it's not. I'm rambling right now, but I'm sorry. It seemed like he's a drug. He sells drugs, and it's in that part. But I love that movie. I think it's a really good one. There's an all-time rant in it as well, and anyone that lives in the tri-state area can definitely appreciate it. So, did you buy anything? Be honest.
No, I did not.
Put you on the spot there. I just wanted to
listen. I don't trust Washington Square Park tables. I'm like,
that's fair.
I'll stay away from that. Yeah. I did like your recap there of why Kang just got to the MCU basically on how it started at Endgame. You sounded like Michael Pena recapping things in the Ant-Man movies when he does his little whiteboard. You're like, this was this, and then Loki, and then the one who remains, and Sylvie stabbed him, and then now we have Kang. It's crazy. Kang. It's got to be Kang.
Hey, and then Waldron, if you need someone to do like that in any of your movies, I'm available. I'll just say
I talked to Waldron this week. I meant to bring this up because this cracked me up, man. I don't have my phone around me. I'll throw this in post though. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the screenshot I'm talking about. I follow a Marvel Perfect Shot account. I don't know if you've seen that.
I follow that.
They just tweet really cool screenshots from all the Marvel projects and stuff. And it like almost makes you appreciate how comic booky a lot of this stuff actually looks when they just tweet out the still images. And they did one from Multiverse of Madness with 4 really cool shots. So I was just curious. I think I was on the reefer myself. And I messaged Waldron and I said, do you have a favorite shot in Multiverse of Madness? And he messaged back right away, yes. And then he just gave me a screenshot of him at the Doctor Strange wedding. And it's him behind Rachel Maddow. Or not Rachel Maddow. Rachel McAdams. Rachel Maddow. Oh my God. She was not in that movie. Rachel McAdams, though. It's literally Michael Waldron behind Rachel McAdams. Just like,
you owe us one all. Now you're just throwing yourself in there. That's a great move. I respect.
I never even noticed that though. I've seen Multiverse of Madness, I think 3 times at this point. Never noticed Waldron. I don't know how I didn't.
What was your favorite shot of Multiverse of Madness? We'll spin
there was one, and I'll also put it in post. So if you're watching on YouTube, you could see it. There's a shot of Wanda with the blood, like as she's killing the Illuminati, with the blood trickling down her face, and it's a total Sam Raimi sideways, like what the Dutch angle or whatever they call that, where it's complete like crooked horror movie style. I like that one a lot because that's just like I would have never expected to see that in a Marvel movie. And also, I texted you after the Ant-Man trailer when I saw Kang at the end go, ah, and he's like, shooting out lasers from everywhere. I was like, oh my God, when Wanda comes back, whenever she does, if it be Secret Wars, if it be the Kang Dynasty, when she comes back for that showdown with Kang, that's going to be an all-time oh fuck moment. Like when Thor came to Wakanda and we were like, oh, you don't realize how powerful Thor is at this point. Like Thanos might be fucked. It's going to be that with Scarlet Witch.
You said Thor going to Wakanda, and I got like a couple little goosebumps popped up. That still fucking plays. And the way they always make those big entrances come. I even love it when Thanos arrives in Wakanda and just like the music, they do a great job. And obviously Thor. And then remember when people were remixing Immigrant Song with Thor when he comes to Wakanda?
I would have loved that. Like if they actually had that in the movie, I loved the remix of that.
They did a great job with it. And I actually, the other day, the kids are just watching nonsense in the morning. They watch YouTube. All the parents know these idiot YouTube families, and then Ryan's World. It's the apps. I'm telling you, you can't even fathom just how bad it is. It rots their brain. I sound like my mom would have sounded 20 years ago or 30 years ago when I was playing video games as a kid, but it really is the worst. So I was like, you know what? We're going to remix this. So I threw on Guardians 2 the other day, and Guardians 1, which, by the way, I am going to keep watching these 2 movies, and I will never understand how you guys think that one is better.
I know you said that last week.
Yeah, I'm going to say it every week. That's my resolution for the year. Then they asked for the Guardian. They asked for the holiday special. They love the holiday special. They love the song in the beginning. The Christmas time is here, and then I threw on Portals, the portal scene, and just went. It goes from the portal scene to Thanos getting snapped, and like, all right, we're done. We're gonna move on from here. We're not gonna see what else happened, and if anyone was to, not make it. So it's just the best, man. I fucking am so happy to be back in the MCU now. But seeing like Wanda come back, and it would almost be, I don't know if they would hint at it at some point. Oh, there was some red something or other. There, kind of like they had said with the earthquake in the bottom of the ocean. We thought that could be an Atlantis thing, but it's almost, I think you said you said like coming out to save turning face.
Turning face, yeah.
And
that's the face turn. It
would feel like her coming down the aisle of a wrestling aisle, and you're just like, whose side is she on, right? And it's who's like the Wanda character of like WWE Attitude Era for someone like for the olds like me. Like is it
at this point the Undertaker maybe?
I guess
she deals with that dark magic, but like sometimes she's good, sometimes she's super evil and trying to kill Stephanie McMahon.
Yes, and fuck shit up. Like no doubt about it, can fuck shit up.
Yeah, like top tier main eventer. Like you'll never see them with an undercard guy like going toe to toe. Like they're gonna kill every undercard guy.
I guess even like The Rock is kind of that way too, where he was like, you never knew where he was going to go next, because even when he was a bad guy, you loved the fuck out of him, right?
So, I know, corporate Rock, Hollywood Rock. He had like so many bad guy personas too, like different bad guy personas that were all great, all of them.
And I could already tell that like Little Pocket Internet is gonna be so mad if she pulls a Captain Marvel and saves the day that way, and they're like, oh, this is just what Captain Marvel.
You know what though, Marvel has stands for specific characters. It's interesting, like just Wanda stands that don't care about anything Marvel except Wanda, and they're the loudest, the Wanda ones, I think. So like I feel like they'll go to war. That'll be an epic sci-fi war. It's in and of itself.
So this is like the 6,000th time I've watched the Portals, like the endgame battle scene all together. And these people that said Captain Marvel did nothing. That fucking that spaceship just raining fire gets completely slept on, by everything else. It's the most destructive force in the movie outside of anyone who has the fucking stones on them. It's crazy. Yes. That thing just motherfucks everybody on the goddamn battlefield. And if it doesn't, it makes them basically worthless because they're like blocking, they're throwing the spells up to block it. So I can't
her
wait
fight with Thanos at the end wouldn't have allowed Tony Stark. It allowed that time for Tony Stark to then get in there.
Yeah. So
she also like eats a punch in that. That's great. Or a headbutt, was it?
Yeah.
It was one or the other. She eats and she just looks at him like, you fucked up.
And then he has to take the Power Stone out. Yeah. So that's sweet. So I would like to see Wanda. And again, Wanda has her moment in Endgame for sure. But just kind of picking apart Kang or just fucking some shit up. I guess, all right, so we'll get into the stuff in terms of the quotes that came of it, because the question is, what does this lead to, potentially?
The big quote from the Marvel Studios VP of Production and Development, Steven Broussard. He said Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will be as important and integral to the MCU going forward as Winter Soldier and Civil War were. When you texted me this, I said Civil War, the movie where the Avengers broke up. We're talking about like the Avengers breaking up and Quantumania. I get that if Kang's the next big bad guy, and the way the trailer was even laid out, I think Kang is going to be in this movie like from the jump almost. I think they're going to be in the quantum realm in the first 30 minutes of this movie and meet Kang within the first 45, and we're going to get a lot of Kang. Because Jonathan Majors, too, you want to utilize that guy as an actor. He's such a good actor. I want those monologues from Loki back.
Yeah, it won't be like Jaws, and it's like, all right, him not being on the screen is going to terrify you just as much as he's on. It's going to be like a minute of screen time. No. He is going to be there. They're going to probably build him up. I think Pfeiffer is going to be doing the whole do not want to fuck with this guy. This guy is a problem. And then he's just going to come. And I don't want like my beautiful Paul Rudges to get murdered. but I want to see this guy absolutely crush. I want to see. I mean,
if Ant-Man dies and Kang is the next guy, I could see them being like, that's pretty fucking important to the MCU.
To borrow the wrestling term, right? To put him over, right? Sometimes you have to take down a guy, take the belt off him, or I guess kill him in this sense, to then make Kang be like, this guy doesn't fuck around. And Ant-Man is, what did you say? Third tier Avenger?
No, at this point, I think second tier. I think
I'm saying up. In the end game.
Oh, like overall. In
end game.
Yeah.
Third tier, right?
Probably.
I think everyone's been bumped up one because Stark's gone, Captain America's clearly on the moon, all that kind of stuff. There's like 2 Avengers that are fucking around at this point. Thor is raising a child. So
Hulk is off making a tiki bar.
Ant-Man is our only fucking hope, as it turns out, looking back on it, right? So
Ant-Man gets just an honorary, like they have him at the A New Hope medal ceremony after Endgame for coming back. They're like, listen, we couldn't have done this without you, literally.
And there is enough funny business going on with the quantum realm and with all the different timelines that Kang's going to sprout, where Paul Rudd and those beautiful eyes will be coming back on the screen. Everything's going to be okay, guys. You don't have to worry about it. And we have Loki coming out this summer, so there could even be stuff set up for then. But like you said, dude, Civil War, the Avengers broke up. We had an airport battle scene, and this guy doesn't say it's going to have the action and moments of Civil War, but that was a fucking all-time moment. We met Spider-Man. We met Black Panther. Like, that was humongous. So if you're saying it's as integral. Now, I also said this. I blogged it. This guy, and his name was
Stephen Broussard.
Broussard. I swear to God, if there's some Paul Bettany, I can't wait to act. Someone I've always wanted to act with, and this is some fucking way where you can, from a certain point of view, don't you Obi-Wan us, you motherfucker. You give us exactly what we want. I want a movie that, again, if Kang comes, he's the big motherfucker. He's Thanos 2.0. He's the new final boss, big bad of the MCU. I guess that makes it as more integral than anything else we've had lately. And then between Civil War to now, other than those 2 Avengers movies, nothing would be as big as, I guess, the villain going and being a fucking villain for an entire movie. And then forget about whatever him and Scott do. If this then leads to, as he said it's going to be an epic sci-fi war movie. If we have straight up war going on, even if it's in the quantum realm and it's not on Earth with our heroes and stuff like that, we could have some crazy shit going on, man.
Could you imagine if they kept some like big time cameos under wraps? I don't think this movie needs them, and I won't be disappointed if it doesn't have them. I'm not going in wanting like to see X-Men and fucking whatever. But could you imagine? I texted you, Shang-Chi is in San Francisco, right? Yep. What if he somehow discovers the portal to the quantum realm and he goes down to help? I don't think we'll get Loki, but I think there's a decent chance we'll get some TVA agents, knowing Kang was running some of that shit. Even maybe Sylvie, like thinking, oh my God, I fucked things up. Maybe I should go try to help. And then that could lead to something in Loki season 2, or Mobius. Maybe Owen Wilson comes down and just hits a wow when he looks at the quantum realm, you know?
I would dig that. And again, Shang-Chi, they have like those bangles. They've kind of set up like, oh, there's some weird stuff with this. It's making a beacon call. And then Kang needs this stuff for his... There's a lot of shit Jose is going to have to explain to me, but I know that the rings do play a big part in all this. So,
and Kang's been around forever, right? So maybe those rings belonged to him at one point, something like that.
What happens? Is our sweet Wong able to get down there, or is that outside of his like jurisdiction getting to the quantum realm? I don't know how the old sorcery works in all this.
I doubt he fucks with the quantum realm he's got Sopranos to catch up on. Like, he's like, listen, I do a lot for you people. I don't do the quantum realm.
It's like that's the third floor. That Barstool does that. You know, we're Wong is second floor. He can handle that shit, but that is some nitty gritty. That's code and stuff. That is a little too much for him to handle. Like, he can probably get down there if he is focused on it and knows what the fuck he's going to, but I don't think he's just gonna pop up, because I'm just thinking,
because he's also Sorcerer Supreme now, so like he can't leave. And then, you know, who's watching the Sanctum? I guess Strange could, but like, he's corrupted by the Darkhold. He's going off with what's her face now, Charlize Theron.
Yep, I was thinking of what's her name, but not how you think. What's the girl from She-Hulk?
I forget what her name was, but she was great. She spelled her name funny. It was like Madeline with 2 N's or something like that.
But not how you think. Great. That was She-Hulk drunk girl. Do you think that'll pop up?
Oh yeah,
She-Hulk drunk girl. Madison.
Madison.
Madison,
I
but
said
it's not.
Madeline. I was close.
Now, do you know how to spell Madison? Do you know how she actually spells it?
With two N's, right? But and a Y, but not where you think. So is the Y to end it in like the sin?
Yeah, it's Madisyn. So Bob, you nailed
Oh,
it.
look at that. Yeah.
The people who didn't watch She-Hulk or like tried to cancel it before it went live have no idea what we're talking about. But our boy Wong hooked up with Madison. I'm just gonna say that in my fan fiction, Wong got it in watching Sopranos.
I'd like to see them get married, almost in a,
Oh,
it was like when Ted married Brandy Lynn or whatever it was, Tammy Lynn in those movies,
yes.
and you were like, this couple, like I want that for Wong. I want her to be the first lady of the Sorcerer Supreme.
You tell, and there's a little bit of Wong and Madison. They watch The Sopranos. There's that like sexual tension between Tony and Dr. Melfi. They kind of are like the reverse of that. There's a lot of stuff going on. And again, I know a lot of people have no idea what we're talking about. This is my thought on what this movie can do. That would be a fucking moment. I don't think we would get a Doctor Doom reveal because you'd have to have the actor, you'd have to have all that stuff. I do think you could start the wheels in motion. And whether it's an Easter egg or it's a legitimate, all right, it's starting now, it's Doom time. That feels like it's something we can get started here, right? I feel like we need to get this ball rolling sooner or later.
Did you see that there's apparently a front runner for Mr. Fantastic? Did you see this?
I did. Adam Driver?
Adam Driver. Kylo Ren himself, who people suggested for Doctor Doom. In my head, I was like, this motherfucker doesn't want to play Doctor Doom. Like, come on. He played Doctor Doom in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, it's literally the hood, the mask. Like, he can't play Doctor Doom. I like the idea of him as Mr. Fantastic. And as we discussed with his dinosaur movie, sometimes he will accept these roles where it kind of surprises you. Like, he'll go off and do 10 artsy movies, and you're like, oh, I guess that's like, he's a very respectable actor. He does the Best Picture nominees now. And then he's like, no, I want to do the fucking dinosaur shit. Bring me into the Fantastic Four. He's down for it all.
An actor, right? I feel like he stresses the O when he
cinema.
And yeah, exactly. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people in the cinematic community that would be very upset if he took a Marvel role, let alone one as big as that, with probably a even bigger paycheck. I don't see those art movies. I like Adam Driver. So guess what? I want to see Adam Driver in the MCU. And hey, if he's going to be one of the most important characters in the MCU, even fucking better. So the people that don't want it, okay, that's fine. I would be very happy. I used to watch Girls. I watched the first few seasons of Girls because Girls was like a big deal. I'm like, what the fuck is this show? Everyone's talking about it. I still don't know. People that like, people who were talking about it didn't seem to even like it. They're just like, oh, I never knew why it was a big deal. I don't know why Lena Dunham was a big deal before it went live. Maybe she did a couple big shows that popped off, or she was a good writer that was known in Hollywood circles. But I watched with my wife and I got out of it after like 2 seasons or so. But all I could think of, there's 3 things I think of three things I think of.
I know one of them.
One of them is the bag of milk with Lena Dunham, obviously.
Yep, of course.
Number 2 is the one Alyson Williams getting her ass eaten out in that fucking scene that was like, broke a lot of brains. And then 3 was just like, this Adam Driver guy is just fucking awesome. Like, I don't know if I like him. I don't hate him, but I don't know how I feel about him. I kind of like love him and just want to give him a hug. And when he got Kylo Ren, I was stoked for that. And obviously the sequel trilogies didn't turn out as I liked, but I would not blame any of that.
His acting was great, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like his acting throughout actually elevated all those movies. Even Rise of Skywalker, which I'll admit a lot of the faults about, his acting elevates that a lot. Like to the point where he does the Han Solo shrug at the end and you're like, I forget everything. That was awesome. But I'd like that. I think he has the gravitas about his voice too, where like you can respect him as the smartest man in the world, where you're like, oh, I believe that. Yeah, Adam Driver could pull off that role. Do you have a dark horse cameo other than Doom in a hero realm? Like if they're doing Civil War, obviously movie where they bring all the heroes in, do you think they'll bring in, I mean, even like Captain America's got a movie coming up. Do you think like a post-credit scene could even involve, because that apparently deals with Harrison Ford as Agent Ross. Oh, I could even see, could they pull that off, or was that too recent a casting? Like I could see Agent Ross having a quick scene in this, or President Ross.
So this is I think going to be I don't want to say it's going to be the most important part of the movie, the biggest part of the movie, but it'll probably be the things talked about. I do think the post-credits scene is going to be an oh shit moment in this one. This feels
I
like the
think
one
so too.
where it's Thanos putting the glove on. It's like not that big, but it's pretty fucking big, and it's going to be something along those lines. I've given up the dream. I've read, I heard all this stuff, the contract stuff, allegedly. I've given up the dream of my beloved X-Men coming in anytime soon. So that would have been somewhere on the list.
Apparently getting teased in the next Captain America, though.
Really?
The rumor is that the next Captain America will finally address the big eternal hand in the ocean.
Okay.
And that you will be able to mine adamantium from it.
Oh.
And that's going to be a big resource that's going to be even more sought after than vibranium.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
So, like, once you start bringing in the Wolverine bones, and you got that guy, the She-Hulk, there was the news article, guy kills people in bar with claws or whatever. Like, all right, we're starting to throw the seeds in the plant, and we're starting to water them.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then we'll be fucking that plant. Speaking of fucking the plant, you know what? I'm gonna say it just because I don't because it's so weird. I'm trying to think of this quantum realm. It is such a unique thing where you're dealing with time it's just different galaxies and timelines and stuff like that. It's hard to get a character like a Punisher or a Ghost Rider. I'm just trying to think of other ways that you could have that. Doctor Doom, I think, does make sense. So fuck it. Let's just roll with Mephisto. Let's just go back to the well, baby. We're going back to the Mephisto well.
Confirmed for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That's about it for what I got on the trailer itself. I think we covered a lot of that. Do you have anything else? Any more notes on the trailer?
No. It comes out way sooner. It doesn't feel like it's only a month away.
February
right?
17th, I think. And I talked to D-Lo about potentially getting us on the screener list so you could join us and see that early.
D-Lo. I like that. D-Lo Brown. I need someone.
Jeff D-Lo Brown. That could be a Jeopardy answer.
Exactly. I need to see Jeff D-Lo do the D-Lo Brown head shake with a vest on. Like, someone could somehow make that thing. You know the thing where they can take like a picture and then make the person sing and smile and all that. I need
Ken Jack knows how to do that. Yeah.
Jeff D-Lo doing the D-Lo Brown like shimmy down to the ring. I need to see that more than anything in the world. So I cannot wait. I said it in the blog. Guardians 3 is my most anticipated movie for me. I'm looking forward to that more than anything. And I do think it's going to have pretty big ramifications on the MCU, but not massive, because the Guardians have never been that role, right? Like, other than the fact that as I was watching Guardians, I'm like, yeah, Thanos is just chilling in this, and he's so fucking big in the future of the MCU. But I do think that'll be the best movie just because I love James Gunn. But I do think this has a chance now, based on the trailer, based on those comments, that this could be the movie of 2023 for the MCU, where I would have said Guardians was going to be it in a layup, and in terms of making the most money too, which, by the way, I think I have to see this in 3D. Again, I saw this in IMAX 3D, the first trailer, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be a completely different experience in 3D. And I see they're pushing it on the trailer too, probably because it makes them like an extra $8 a ticket. Which, by the way, can I go on a little rant? Just a very
go on a rant. We're at the end of this podcast. Yeah.
James Cameron, you sick son of a bitch. You know everyone has to watch Avatar in 3D. And that's the only reason why you get all those fucking extra tickets. Because I
didn't give him the 3D money. I got to admit it. I didn't do it.
You didn't do it?
No, I didn't do it.
What's the point of going? There's no point in going if you don't go in.
It gives me headaches.
Bob.
Listen, Avatar itself gave me enough of a headache. I didn't want to have a fucking 3D glasses headache thrown onto it.
Blue Pocahontas gave you enough. Blue Space Pocahontas gave you enough of a headache.
Also, how about this? When we were kind of shitting on Cameron, who was the one defender at Barstool? It was Henry Lockwood, huge Avatar guy, loves Avatar. I saw him in the office. He said, what'd you think of Avatar 2? He said, massively disappointed.
Massively disappointed?
He did not like it.
It's the same as the first one. So were you massively
That's why he was disappointed. He was like, they just remade the first movie. He's like, I cannot believe that they brought the villain back. He's like, it seems so lazy. And he's like, I would have cut the entire middle hour of the movie out. And I was like, that's fucking what I said. It was like the middle hour when they were in the water, learning the new tribe. You're doing the first Avatar movie all over again.
Hey, wait until Hank finds out that they basically copied like 9,000 different movies for the first movie, right? Again, the Pocahontas stuff. It is. You know what? They're all starting to see the ways, and that's my little rant here, James Cameron. You make us watch it in 3D and in IMAX too, which I happen to see because like I got to do this the right way. I got to watch it. It's like getting a fucking nice new TV for the Super Bowl. I fucking go, and then you get it's like I want to see tickets sold from now on. I don't want to see dollars made. I want to see tickets sold because I'm telling you,
that's how it would be in like albums. You talk about units sold.
Yeah,
you know, like why do we change that for box office? That's fucked up. That's a great point, Clem.
I did try to look it up the other day, and I went cross-eyed. I mean, I looked it up. I did one Google search, clicked on the first page, went cross-eyed, and I don't know what I was looking at. It said some movie from like 1970 was like the number one, and something in China. But I feel like it cannot be the number one ticket seller too, right?
No, Avatar 2? No.
Avatar 1.
You mean
any
Avatar
of them.
1? No, I think honestly, like Gone with the Wind might still have that, because I think Gone with the Wind was in theaters for like 10 years.
Oh, maybe I saw Gone with the Wind. I'm like, I'm doing this wrong. Like, I'm clearly not looking at the right
or
thing.
Even like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the original Star Wars has that title still.
Yes, because people were just going because they're like, I can't see this kind of shit anywhere else, right? Except for in the movie theater for this 2 hours.
Tickets were fucking 25 cents back then, so they're not gonna have the box office records now. But like, I still think that was probably the biggest in tickets sold. You know what the number one domestic release of all time is in the United States?
Cash or tickets?
Straight cash, homie.
It's not Titanic?
The Force Awakens.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Wow. Gave you Wilson. Hey, that just shows like where we were when that fucking when that trailer came out and then that movie came
Harrison
out.
Ford got a percentage of the box office.
Did he really? Good for him, man.
He got like 0.5% or something, but that's still like, holy fuck. It's the top grossing movie ever in America.
I choose to believe George Lucas wrote in his contract too, you're not allowed to use any of this money to fly planes because I don't want my friend to crash yet again.
And speaking of planes crashing, I saw Plane this week. I went with Fights and Cons. The fellas went to go see Plane. A better cinematic experience than Avatar 2. That's my review of that. It got 5 separate applause breaks in the movie, Clem. People getting hit with sledgehammers, people getting hit with planes. It's a throwback to the 90s. Go see Plane. And then last note on this podcast, ironically enough, The Last of Us debuts on Sunday on HBO. We're not going to be doing like the House of the Dragon live recaps where we dress up as zombies afterwards, but I do want to watch the show. I do want to talk about it on the podcast. So tune in next week. Whenever we do an episode, we'll have a little segment about The Last of Us episode 1.
Yeah, and again, I was a little skeptical because I've never played the game, don't know much about it. But if it's at the HBO 9 p.m. time slot, that is like I almost have to watch whatever that show is. And I just saw they just hiked up the prices for HBO. I was like, you motherfuckers. So I was thinking that's a stupid move to do. You wait until I was going to say House of the Dragon or wait for Succession to come out. But they're doing it here for The Last of Us. And it doesn't look like a complete dick move if you do it as soon as Succession just to get all that Succession money in. So, yeah, I'm down.
Also, are you cool with the horror elements? Are you a horror? I know you're not like a pussy, but like, are you a horror guy?
I'm not a horror guy. I'm a little bit of a pussy if we're being honest, but if it's seems like a big enough event where it's more than just like I'm not watching a murder flick.
The Ring. No. But you know, I think it'll be a little scarier than like say The Walking Dead.
Okay. I've never watched The Walking Dead either. So
you were never a Walking Dead
guy?
No,
I missed the first season or two. And by the time I even would have thought about getting into it, it was at the point where people were like, oh, I'm so sick of The Walking Dead. Yeah. Same happened with Lost. I was like, oh, maybe I'll give Lost a shot. And at that point, people were like, this story is going nowhere. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to get into Lost. It was absolutely perfect timing. So I'm very happy with that. We can't do live recap shows because if the Giants make a Super Bowl run and I try to watch the Giants the same time as fucking The Last of Us and people get very mad, I still can't believe that. I'm thinking of this dragon thing again. I got criticized for working too hard. You
did.
It was one of those things. It's like, it's not that I recorded the podcast. I recorded a live fucking video podcast as soon as it went live that was doing good numbers and trying to keep the fucking basement lights on here is what we were trying to do, which the lights are still on right now. If you can't tell, they're right above my head here. So, yeah. And speaking of House of the Dragon, shout out to girl Millie Alcock getting drunk as shit. They won, I think, best TV drama. Still
much deserved.
I didn't put this in the blog. I'm so mad. Our boy Vizzy, still the biggest snub I think I've ever seen in my life in any award show. Angela Bassett, Wakanda Forever, our queen. R.I.P. To her, the character. Oh shit, that might have been a spoiler. Sorry, guys.
No, it's been long enough.
It's been long
people
enough,
truly care about the spoilers for Black Panther. I mean, it was out in November.
Yeah, that's true. So, and what's the last? the bear one, the guy
Yes.
who played the bear one, and that's starting up. I think that might be coming out in the summer.
Oh, is it season 2
I
already?
think I read that's coming out in the summer, or maybe it's this following summer. Are you a Dave guy? Dave's coming out in
Love
April.
Dave.
Love
I mean,
Dave.
season 1 especially. Season
Yeah.
2, I agree with everyone. Started slow, got really good by the end. I love the finale. But yeah, and also the main guy from The Bear. Did you see he's playing Kerry Von Erich in a wrestling movie?
I did, and wait, no, it's I might have saw who's Zach Efron's playing a Von Erich too, right?
He's in the same movie, yeah.
Yeah, he looks humongous.
so they're in the movie, and MJF is in the movie as another wrestler as well.
Oh shit! Oh, I had no idea. So that it's a movie. You said it's a movie. Like
yeah, A24 movie too. So it'll be a bit artsy, a bit depressing. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're doing a Von Erich story, it's going to be super depressing, actually.
Wrestling is no stranger to that stuff, right? I mean,
yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring series. Check that out. Yeah, wrestling is a dark business.
I said this podcast might go a half hour long. We're already just cruising, and I'm gonna throw in another fucking another thing to throw us off. Let me see if I can find the actual tweet. I don't think I can. It was it's like a wrestling con is coming up, and it's like, and I'm sure there's gonna be wrestlers. I think it was like you can like meet Tony Atlas, and you could do this, you could do that. And then it was like, it had like 7 wrestlers from the 80s and 90s, like the cartoony Hulk era to maybe a little bit of the Attitude. I was like, meet the son of Earthquake, meet the brother of, this guy. And it was all their relatives because they're all fucking dead. So it is a fucking dark ass industry, man.
I mean, you look up like WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, 4. You look at those cards and you just look down the list of who's alive and who's dead at this point. This was, less than 40 years ago, and most of these guys are unfortunately passed on. It's tough.
Yeah. It's
and Vince
crazy.
McMahon may be selling to Saudi Arabia now. So we're in succession right now. We're living the 3rd season. Stephanie McMahon's out of the company. Rumors that Triple H is going to follow. Who knows if that's true? Rumors that Tony Khan wants to come in and buy the company, which I don't think Vince would ever, his pride would never allow him to sell to his competitor, because he would view that as,
100%.
Admitting defeat and whatnot. But oh my God, the name on the contract says Khan, but it's not Nick Khan, it's Tony Khan. Imagine that. Like, it would be unreal moment. But yeah, crazy times in the wrestling world. Maybe I'll do a wrestling episode soon, because if the WWE sells, we'll do a wrestling episode and we'll talk about it, because there will be stuff to talk about.
I said it on the rundown. I was on with Eddie the other day, who's a big wrestling guy, at least from back in the day. And it's like, I think Vince has been in the wrestling business so long. His whole life is like a storyline. So he doesn't know where it stops, where it begins, because it's like Stephanie and Triple H were supposed to take it over. It's like, that on itself sounds fake, even though it's clearly real. They're business people. They're married. And then it's like, but he might sell to Saudi Arabia. It's like, it's the same wrestling Mad Libs. When I was like really young, Iran was the enemy. Then in like the early 90s, Iraq was the enemy, and they had fucking Sergeant Slaughter go to Iraq. Fucking Iron Sheik went from Iranian to Iraqi somehow. I don't even remember how that happened. And now Saudi Arabia, they're the hot button fucking topic, and that's who we might be selling to. Like, it is so fucking WWE, Vince McMahon. All we need is his limo to blow up, and it'll be the official like full circle.
Oh, we could only hope, yeah.
And speaking of some crazy shit you're watching, our boy Bob. We're going with the boys right now, right? You're starting, You're getting Lady Fox in there, and we're moving again, right?
Late breaking news on the podcast. The boys is rolling. We talked about it in the past. I hadn't seen season 3, still haven't seen season 3, because I was trying to get my girlfriend into the show, and I didn't want to watch season 3 in front of her and then get her into it, and she's already seen it, spoiled, whatever. The whole shebang, trying to watch a TV show with a significant other. We're finally watching it. She's enjoying it. We finished season 1. We're on to season 2. We'll be on season 3 before you know it.
Yeah, once you all you have to do is get the ball rolling on a show like that in terms of the binge watch, and then you're in a good place. So
she's hooked too. It'll be like, hey, what do you want to watch? And she'll be like, how about the boys? And I'm like, yes. I'm not even the one suggesting it at this point.
My wife was in
that's how you know someone's hooked,
when the person you're hoping will watch it is the one suggesting, you're like, yes, we're in the clear. This is huge right here. So yeah, I 100% get that. The spinoff, I believe, comes out in 2023. So I'm sure we'll do some sort of a thing around that, a segment or something like that. And then I think 2024 is when season 4 will come out. And I saw they said they're looking to take it to disgusting new heights. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be.
I fear what that means.
Yes, I legitimately fear what that means.
I forgot, and this is a season 1 spoiler. So if you haven't seen The Boys season 1, you could tune out. We'll be done in just a minute here. I forgot how disgusting the scene was where the girl comes and like kind of like in a way rapes the Deep by sticking her fingers up his gills when he did not want that to happen. It was uncomfortable, disgusting, everything. He's like, please stop, please stop. No, that hurts. And she's like, I'm doing it. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we watching right now?
Bob, my friend,
the boys will make you cringe. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. The boys will really get every emotion out of you.
Not the Basement Boys. The Basement Boys will do the opposite. We'll give you all the good feelings, and they take care of the rest. The other boys, yeah. I mean, you have some shit coming up. I cannot wait to.
I know season 3. I haven't even seen yet. So yeah, I'm sure it gets even wilder.
And Billy Joel just playing in the background the whole time.
Oh, the Billy Joel is the best. It's the absolute best. All right. That's it for My Mom's Basement today. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like down below. Tune into KFC Radio on Monday. Fun episode. We talk about Barstool. We talk about the basement. We talk about all that fun stuff. And what's a hashtag for this week? I got one. Kang versus Lang.
Yes. Hashtag Kang versus Lang. I like that.
Kang versus Lang. There you go. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.